Philadelphia Eagles walked into town, took over the bank, came out with a win, 24-19. Jalen Hurts completed 11 passes for 118 yards and a touchdown.
Niggas beat us with
Saquon
11
Barkley
passes.
He beat you with 11 passes. A black Kenny Pickett, if you will. Saquon Barkley, 23 carries, 107 yards. Lamar Jackson on the other side, 23 completions, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 19 carries, 82 yards. Flock, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man. Listen, it sucks when you keep on doing enough to win. Like the Ravens are doing enough to win these games, man. And you can't say it's Harbaugh fault for letting you down, but we've been talking about this. We've been talking about Justin Tucker for years now. Going back to Buffalo, but he missed them kicks in Buffalo. And a lot of people got on and saying, we jumped the gun. Everybody was saying it. We jumped the gun. We judged him. He's still this, that, and third. He may be, like I said, he's still first ballot Hall of Famer. We all know that. We all know he's, still going to go down as one, if not the best, one of the best kickers of all time. We've seen that, we've seen what he can do. But I asked you Saturday, Nick. I said, do you think we should bring in competition? Right? Remember I asked you that? And we all said, no, he's cool. No, now is not the right time. This guy has to go, man. You can't, at this point, you can't. I've seen kickers cut for less. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of who you are, whatever, 10 missed kicks this season, 3 in this game, 2 in Pittsburgh. So you missed 5 kicks over the last 2 games. Well, you take out, the Chargers game. You're missing these kicks. And now you're losing games because of these kicks. It's a different game. You up 19-14 or, it's a different game. You up 19-14 and they got to throw the ball instead of just rely on Saquon Barkley in the fourth quarter when they did more your defense down all game. It's a different game. It's definitely a different game. So yeah, like I said, the Ravens do enough to win. They played enough to win it, and you can't. We sit here and we talk. Even though they gave the jump touchdown to the Chargers, the defense has seemed like they got their act together for the most part. So we can't even build on it because we got offense still getting off the slow starts, and we got this kicker Justin Tucker who live on broadcast we saying the goddamn head coach go give him a hug. Which is crazy. This is not the time to kumbaya. I got your back. No, dog. What is this? It's too much of a family atmosphere.
Did Zach Orr get a hug?
That's what I'm saying. Why right? Good point. Why are you going over there and giving Justin Tucker a hug in the middle of the game when he's blowing games? That's not coaching. That's you have to bring in competition. So you have to bring in somebody that's going to push him and challenge him and can potentially be better than him. You cannot take this kicker into the playoffs. You cannot take this kicker down the stretch. And you, like I said, because it's proven now that when the Ravens play tough defenses and they don't get out to a fast start, they're going to struggle. It's going to be a mucky, grinding game. And it's a game yesterday when you, like I say, you had defensively everything to win. Offensively, you did enough to win the game. Lamar sustained no drives to get you in the field goal range, and your kicker is blowing kicks, missing extra points. It sucks. Because I feel like there's a couple games this year where if he just make his kicks, the Ravens win the game. I don't know. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they can get into the interests of the game, but we talked about Lamar. He got to play better, man. I feel like he's not running enough. I feel like it's spots that he be taking, and he's missing a lot of throws. There's a lot of throws that's leading to field position. He don't have to go out and score a touchdown every drive. But he got to start sustaining some of these drives. There's too many 3-and-outs. That likely pass should have been a touchdown. You had the time. You rushed it. It should have been a touchdown. The third down to Zay Flowers, which gave them that he was up 9-0. And he missed it flat out dud that he threw to Zay Flowers. That would have sustained the drive. That gave him ball, but they finally gave him the Eagles their good field position. So we're going to get their first touchdown. So I think, and it happens every year when it gets cold outside. He's a Florida boy. He don't like playing in the cold. You can tell. But I need him to be dialed in from the beginning because just like against the beginning of the Chargers game, Steelers game, this game he's not. I don't think he's locked in at the beginning of the game, and is causes like I said, that likely miss to me changed the whole course of the game. Likely should have hit his head on the goalpost. So yeah, him getting off the slow starts. And fucking Justin Tucker, excuse my language, is killing them right now. It's killing the Ravens. Like I said, when the defense is starting, we talked about his defense all year, and now they're starting to play better. is you don't see the lack of miscommunication. You see the tackles being made. You see the young players making plays. You see you still getting pressure on the quarterback. And granted, give credit to Philadelphia. They're a veteran team. They things wasn't going their way at first. They took advantage of the missed kicks. They took advantage of some Lamar mistakes in the short field advantage, and they beat us. That's what veteran teams do. That's what team that's primed to go to the playoffs. That's what well-coached teams do. The Ravens are none of that right now. So you are what your record are. The bye week couldn't come at a better time for them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. It was a nice atmosphere yesterday. A lot of Eagles fans did show up. It was one of those quintessential big games. 4:30 kickoff time. You kind of just felt it in the air. Felt like a playoff atmosphere. But again, because it felt like a playoff atmosphere, I knew that I was going to get a playoff version of the Baltimore Ravens. And we saw prime playoff Baltimore Ravens yesterday. The slow starts have been something that we've talked about for multiple shows now. Something that continues. That's a Monken issue. I do put it on the players too to have the onus and the focus to start strong. But as a play caller, you got to get those boys in the right positions to make plays, and you got to start them off, get them in rhythm, make sure that they are in rhythm early. And that was something that the play calling is just too inconsistent. Saw a lot more Justice Hill than I necessarily wanted to see early. I think, a lot of times we were crossing the 50. I think you got to have Derrick Henry in the game as a threat, even if you're going to pass the ball. And I think it's too I think they tell their plays a little bit too much. When Justice Hill's in the game, you kind of know what they're trying to do. And every once in a while, they'll run the ball to keep you honest. But, that's a win for the defense to take Derrick off the field when you're past the 50. And, again, I love Justice, but in those games against the best teams, I want to see the best players, and I want them to be the first, second, and third consideration when we're past the 50. Doesn't mean they have to get the ball every play, but you got to consider you have to be a threat on the field. And again, if this is how you wanted to use Derrick Henry, maybe you should have went after Saquon, right? But anyway, that's a different discussion. And you saw the versatility Saquon brings yesterday. You have that running ability, but you also have that ability in the pass game. You don't ever have to take him out just because. But again, that's another conversation. As far as the Ravens are concerned, I mean, listen, man, the Eagles are a good team. They've won 8 straight for a reason. They're a great defense. So as far as Lamar and how he played, I thought he played a good game. Was he perfect? No. But I've seen many games this season where Patrick Mahomes has played far less than perfect, and his team was able to win a football game because football is a team game. So, yes, Lamar Jackson wasn't perfect. I saw him skip a pass to Zay Flowers, like he mentioned. That was horrible. A few passes over wide open receivers' heads. That was horrible. But then you look at what he did do well, which is sustain drives for the most part. Played a relatively clean game for the most part. He did what he needed to do. It's not like he was Jalen Hurts out there completing 11 passes. He did what he needed to do. I remember a sequence late in the third quarter when Bateman went down. You saw a dime to Nelson Aguilar dropped. And then 2 plays later, another dime to Nelson Aguilar dropped. The second dime would have had us within the 5-yard line. And that second drop led to a 52 or 53-yard miss from Justin Tucker as far as a field goal. So, yeah, I mean, if we're saying our MVP needs to be an MVP every single snap, I agree with you. And he didn't live up to that yesterday. But Jesus Christ, that's a hell of a bar to have to attain every single game, every single snap. My nigga, can Justin Tucker make a kick? Can Nelson Aguilar catch a pass? For somebody who's a wide receiver, whose job is to look at the ball and corral the ball with their fingertips and their hands, he does a horrible job at it, right? Like if you're a lawyer, you're supposed to win people cases. If you're a doctor, you're supposed to save lives. As a wide receiver, you're supposed to catch passes. Doesn't do well at it. Don't get it. Don't understand why he's has a stranglehold on this depth chart. We bring in Deontay Johnson trade deadline, somebody with proven production. This is a guy through 7 seasons averaging 82, 9, 13, and 5. If you look at career numbers, he is the most decorated, accomplished receiver in our room. And you mean to tell me when Bateman goes out with a knee injury, The first person off the bench is Nelson Aguilar. He couldn't even catch the pass. You know, when you go against your former team, it's supposed to be called a revenge game. You're supposed to like, hey, you guys left me for dead. You moved on without me. Let me show you how good I am. Nelson doesn't get those messages. Nelson said, let me remind you why you let me go. Here, guys, I used to play for you guys. Here's a gift. Let me drop some passes for you. That's what we got to deal with. And it starts with John. It starts with, this whole believing in our guys thing, the culture. What is the culture? Because the culture I know of is being soft and choking. That's the Ravens way right now. And Nelson exhibits that. So if we're elevating him because of culture, by God, you got this one right, John. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's piss poor. Justin Tucker, man. Let's talk about Justin Tucker. He's converting 70% of his kicks this year. I didn't say 80. I didn't say 83, 84, because 80, 82, 83, 84, that shit gets people fired. That gets people cut and released. 70%. Lord have mercy. Where is it? I read a stat earlier today and basically said that Justin Tucker, we've lost five games, obviously, by a combined 22 points. And his missed kicks amount to 50. Sorry. Hold on. Let me find it. Yeah, sorry. 5 losses by a combined 22 points, and Justin Tucker has 22 points worth of missed kicks in the Ravens' 5 losses. Yeah. So in those 5 losses, he's missed 22. He missed kicks that amounted to 22 points, and we've lost by 22. So y'all tell me, who's the difference maker there? Is it Lamar missing a throw, or is it the person? You should be able to depend on your kicker. Like in games against great teams, it's not always going to be touchdown for touchdown for touchdown for touchdown. You got to take points how you can get it against a great team. We're not playing the Tampa Bay Bucks, guys. I'm not saying guys I'm talking about Ravens fans. We're not playing the Bucks. This ain't Bo Nix again. Okay? This is a quality football team, just like the Pittsburgh Steelers are a quality football team. Just like the Kansas City Chiefs are a quality football team. Guess what? Let me let you guys know about a secret. I don't know if you guys know this or not. In the playoffs, you're going to play quality teams. You got to make kicks. You got to not be dropping passes. You got to not be committing penalties. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Keep on saying that he confident he going to get it fixed. Like he say that after every game. I mean, why it's not going to get fixed? He's washed now. It's over. It's okay. Move on. Like
Jay Feely said, Jay Feely, who's a former NFL kicker, said today in defense of Justin Tucker that instead of the Ravens fans booing Justin Tucker, they should be providing him more hugs. I just want to ask a serious question.
They think we the Phillies fan with Trey Turner. Man.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah, right.
I was in the stadium yesterday. When Lamar Jackson missed a throw, when he didn't run when he wasn't supposed to. Do you think they offered him hugs? Our own fans. Do you think they were trying to offer him a hug? I won't tell you what they were saying, but it wasn't pleasant. Not for somebody who's won 2 MVPs. It wasn't pleasant. But let Justin Tucker miss 3 kicks in one game. We're not talking about the entire season. We're not talking about 70%, right? We're talking about one game. Let him miss 3 kicks. Now, by the third kick, it got violent. But it took 3 of them. Unbelievable. And as soon as the defense gets right, listen, did anybody give Marcus Williams this type of rope?
I don't know.
When he was ass,
he
was
Eddie
ass.
Eddie Jackson.
When he was ass, he was ass. Who else?
Bateman don't get no love when he's dropping passes. We literally give nobody love. I don't care.
Malik Harrison until last week. Like,
bro, I don't want to see Roll Farms chicken again.
That's what I'm saying.
Ever.
Yeah, I'm off the Rofa.
Look, bro, like it's just ridiculous that we sit there trying to coddle somebody, but we won't coddle. We didn't coddle Zach Orr, and he's never called plays before, and mind you, rightfully so. Like we should be on him because there's a standard in Baltimore, right? But I will say, last 3 weeks, defense has kind of been living up to the standard. At first I was skeptical. I had to see yesterday to believe it. We've made some tactical adjustments that give us a chance. But then on the flip side, like he said, the offense is starting to come back down to earth, and it's self-inflicted errors. But again, you decide to punt on getting wide receiver help in the trade deadline, and you bring in Deontay Johnson. I'm thinking, okay, we at least are going to utilize him and have him compete with some of the players on our team. And competition should only raise level of play. Now we're talking about they're asking John Harbaugh, do you foresee Deontay Johnson to be in a Ravens jersey for the rest of the season? He said, listen, we're working through some things and I'll have some answers for you in the next couple of days. That didn't sound pretty good. And if I'm Deontay Johnson, I fucking agree. Bro, you're not about to have me playing behind Nelson Aguilar. I have done too much in my career.
And Tylen Wallace and shit. Like,
I have a resume. I have stats. Like in basketball, I can say I average 23, 8, and 7. That's him. I'm not playing behind somebody that's averaging 11. Nelson don't even average that. Nelson, one of them guys that, Jesus Christ, I got to put him in now. He's Bronny James. His whole life, his whole NFL career, he hasn't been what he's supposed to be. And people talking about he a nice guy. Bro, these tickets cost money. I don't care about who's nice and who's not. I want to win. I don't give a fuck who's nice. I don't care who's a team player, bro. George Pickens ain't a team player, but guess what? That guy makes plays. He makes plays. You make a play. When we make a play or two for your quarterback, maybe we don't lose the game yesterday.
Yeah, I agree with everything y'all said. For me, it comes down to the third quarter yesterday with the Ravens. If you look at the third quarter yesterday, the Ravens had 24 plays. The Eagles had 6. The Ravens had 88 yards in the third quarter. The Eagles had 3. We had 7 first downs. The Eagles had 0. And yet, at the end of the third quarter, 0 point. It was still 14-12, still 0-0. You missed 2 field goals. So I agree with the sentiment. The offense, despite some of the lapses, and Lamar had several throws that he missed, but despite all that, you were still in a position to win this game against a team that they're saying right now, the way the lines are constructed with all these people on the IR, could be in the Super Bowl. So you did everything I feel like you had to do to win that game. The defense got stops. You didn't hear A.J. Brown's name a lot yesterday, which is a big thing. You barely heard Jalen Hurts' name yesterday. But it at this point, like we talk about, it's a trend. And you talked about it, Nick. It had that feel of that AFC title game again last year. Like it's one of them late starts once the game gets started. And granted, we was up 9-0, but it didn't feel like we took command of that game at no point. Despite being up 9-0, it felt like it could have been more. And when you leave teams like the Eagles around, they're going to make plays. Shout out to that defensive line, Jalen Carter, stud. Jordan Davis, stud. N'Kobe Dean, stud. Like, they got it at every level, essentially. Quinion Mitchell, young. Stud.
They're so young. They're so young on defense, dog.
Quinion Mitchell took Bateman out the game, if we're being honest. Like, Bateman didn't do nothing. He was following Bateman. So...
Not DeVonta
the Ravens,
Adams. Not him.
Yeah, not DA. But the Ravens got a the bye couldn't have come at a better time. You got to regroup and get ready to finish this last 4 games of the season, 3 games in 10 days. But this team really got to look in the mirror and decide who they want to be. You weren't even the most penalized team yesterday, and you still lost. So it's the intangibles with this team. It's the little things. It's the attention to detail. And that's where this team falls short week in, week out. Bill Belichick says it. Who beats the Ravens? The Ravens. Lamar said it yesterday. Who beats us? We beat ourselves. And that's
who beats the Ravens? The Ravens.
Romo, yeah. And you see it week in, week out. I don't feel like we've lost a game to any team. These 5 losses have been to some fault of our own, essentially. And so they got to figure out during this bye week how they're going to clean that up. You look at No Way yesterday. Owe, what did he play? Like 15 snaps. He barely played. So if you're going to say I'm going to sit, no, if you say I'm going to play Owe 15 snaps, why isn't Deontay Johnson out on the field? Aguilar, how many times does he have to drop a pass? How many times I got to watch Tylen Wallace run routes? Respectfully. Special teams terrible yesterday. The missed kicks, the punts, the field position. How many times you gonna field the ball inside the 5?
Oh,
you got to go 90+ yards.
I forgot about Jordan Stouff, Keith. Jesus.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. It was bad yesterday, special teams wise. But of course, all the blame's going to fall on 8. And, 8 did not have the best of games. He did not. Some uncharacteristic mistakes by him, some misreads. But despite all that, 8 still puts you in a position to win a football game. He still led you down the field to get 3. You left 7 points on the board. That's not 8's fault. And so I just think it's got to change going into these last 4 weeks of the season. It's got to be less Lamar, please, and more of a team effort. And until they became playing complimentary football, and at this point, can they play complimentary football? We past Thanksgiving, all the ifs and buts. This is who they are. So they're gonna have to figure out a way if they think they're gonna be productive in the playoffs, which is hard to see at this point. But a lot of this has to clean up. Offensive line has to be better. I mean, Makari and Filate, they didn't look good yesterday. They missed a lot of blocks yesterday. A few of them Henry runs could have been big chunk runs and people would have found a body. So this is not, I won't even call it a disappointing loss because that's a good football team on the other side. But a game that you feel like you should have won. And then a lot of these big games over the last few years in the regular season, the Ravens have come out and performed. And yesterday was one of those ones where they kind of laid the egg against a big opponent.
These 5 losses are kind of it's getting kind of shaky. Our playoff footing. These teams in the AFC ain't playing with us. We have to start winning some games and start not giving away games. And I agree. Yes, as far as our losses are concerned, we are a big part of our losses, but that might play into a lot of teams' hands. They know we're going to fold, so just stick with it. Apply pressure. Stick with it. They're going to fold. That's them winning the game. That's an example of them winning the game. That's a strategy. Stick with the Ravens until they self-destruct.
Yeah, they're going to piss on their leg. You know what, they're going to piss on their leg.
And we keep doing it. Yeah. It's a culture. We playing like a Raven means pissing down your leg when adversity hits. Every time adversity hits, we went up 9-0, and they came back, punched us in the mouth, and then once it was a game, it didn't feel like it was a game anymore. Those missed kicks, I can't dwell on those enough. They sucked the air out the stadium.
It just sucks because you knew he was about to miss though. You knew it was coming. Even the 50-yarder he made it, I didn't even think he was gonna make that.
We score our first touchdown and we don't add the extra point. That right there, we knew we were up for some bullshit. I'm like, oh, he's missing extra points this early. Oh my God. So when he went to kick that 50-yarder, we didn't have much faith. That missed. And then he kicked a 40-something yarder. We'd he got to make the 40-yarder. I mean, please, Justin, please. Miss that. I'm like, all right, Chuck.
And then he missing them bad too, man. It's not these things are flying left. It's not missing. If he was missing them all left, all right, we know what the problem is. Missing them, already know what the problem is. They short. No, he's missing them short, left, right, below. Did anybody
give Lamar a hug when he bounced past the Zay Flowers like he was Steve Nash or something? Did anybody give him a hug? I ain't seen no hugs.
I know.
Yo, we talking about hugging people.
Y'all wanted Mark Andrews out of town early on.
This ain't the Salvation Army.
Nah.
This ain't the group home. Justin don't need love.
You know what?
Yeah, I couldn't believe he went over there and gave him a hug on that sideline in the middle of the game, dog. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that.
I could.
I feel like he hugged him against us. It was one of them games early. He hugged him on the sideline. That's not the first time he's gotten a hug from John Harbaugh.
When you're a nice guy, you and the Harbaugh good fool, yo. The Tuckers, all of them, the Sam Colts, all of them dudes, they good guys, man. They probably at Harbaugh for Easter and all of that. They spent Easter together. That's the type of you won't see the Ed Reeds and them type dudes there. And that's why, as you've seen, when Ozzie retired, the Ravens started recruiting a different type of player. And it shows. It's Mr. Nice Guy now. It's no accountability in the castle. And one thing that I'm getting tired of, stop calling us the physical football team. That physical football team was 10 years ago. 10 plus years ago, we were a physical football. This is a finesse football team. Nothing about us is physical. What was physical was the Eagles yesterday flying to the football. That's physical football. punching you in your mouth. That's physical football winning in the trenches. The Ravens don't play that way no more. We haven't played that way in a while, to be honest with you. Like, that's just one of them things of the past. And I wish we stopped calling ourselves a physical football team. Like, that's just not who we are anymore.
Well, so why is our special team so bad?
Because the coach is supposed to be good and he's bad. And that's his specialty.
And to your point about no accountability in this organization, like, the fact that EDC and John Harbaugh relationship so close to the point where their families hang out, they go over each other's houses. Like, it's not far-fetched, don't get me wrong, but I don't really want that type of relationship between my GM and head coach. I want my GM to be an extension of the owner, and I want there to be accountability. So when the coach is not doing what he's supposed to do, I want there to be some accountability for that, just like there's accountability for players when they don't play well. You don't get that next contract. You get released. You get demoted, put down on the depth chart. There got to be some accountability here because, and I think they're a tandem, like, and vice versa too. Accountability for EDC as well. Like, what type of draft pick was Jordan Stout to be drafted him as a high mid-rounder, right? For him to not be one of the best at his position, and you spent draft capital on a punter when we need corners, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, wide receivers. We spent a mid-round pick on a fucking punter. That isn't even nice. He ain't even nice. He be out here shanking punts every other punt. Yeah. So we talking about field position. We don't even have field position. We can't even play the field position game in a close game because our punter will net 35 yards on a punt.
No consistency. No.
We're talking about using high mid-rounders on these people. Yo,
going back to the hug, like you do that at the Pee Wee level.
That's what I'm saying. And
they're not even hugging in high school.
On the locker room, like you do that in the locker room. Hugging you in high school. You don't like if Lamar throw an interception, if you have a 3 interception game, or your running back fumble 2 times, or your defensive player keep getting penalties, like you don't gotta go. I don't see them getting hugs. Like, why are you giving him a hug? He's losing games. Tell his ass go sit down.
Billy Cundiff ain't get a hug.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, why this nigga's losing games?
That's what
hugs are for trouble players that about to maybe lose. Like, not for no damn person that's not losing games, like missing kicks, missing.
Just Harlan went and hugged Pickens yesterday. Like, calm down, nigga. Like,
that's after a big play.
Yeah, that wasn't enough. Yeah, that was.
That's what the hug for.
And then that was like, yo,
football game.
I'm about to have to discipline you. Relax.
Yeah, come on,
yeah,
stop.
yeah.
But no,
that's one of the father-son hugs.
Yeah, but as far as the Tucker stuff, man, Keys. I mean, it was a great question last week. What should we do in the short term? Last week
that shit manifested itself. But
it's like it's sad because you really don't want to make that change mid-season. I feel like, to your point, that's something to where he was showing signs of decreasing last year. He was 1 for his last 5 50-yard field goals last season. He was a liability last season.
Nah, you can't say that, Nick. We got chastised for that. You can't say that.
I do remember.
We literally said this 11 months ago. I went and looked at the video again today. 11 months ago today. Said it may be time for Tucker to go.
They was all up in the comments. Oh, Justin Tucker, no, he's the GOAT. How could you say that? You guys,
and that's what was he 13-4 last year?
I don't listen to people that support James Prochet. Y'all can't tell me about football. Just listen. Listen to me. I ain't listening to y'all. But anyway, the Justin Tucker thing, it's a crazy angle because it's you're seeing Keys. You made this point last week. You're seeing kickers. John Parker Romo. Who's John Parker Romo out here kicking 50-yarders for the Minnesota Vikings?
Yo, they hitting 50-yarders like they layups now.
James Gonzalez in Washington.
Tampa Bay kicker yesterday. 51-yarder sent it overtime.
Matthew Wright. He's the 3rd kicker for the Chiefs. They've had 2 kickers get injured. Schrader and Bucker.
Yeah.
Matthew Wright went out there, was making every kick.
He a soccer player.
Bam. But we got to stick to Justin because his feelings over wins, guys. Vibes over wins. Yay.
Yeah. And they saying there's nobody there's nobody on the street that's better than Justin Tucker right now. If we don't bring him in and see. You don't know that. You can. What they sending you filming them?
What do you mean?
Where's Matt Stover, man? Do he still got a leg?
I am a gambler.
Steve Hoshka.
I gamble. I be paying attention to all of this shit. When I'm in 8 different paid fantasy leagues, like, yo, half my kickers are gone. I'll be having to find out who the hell is this guy.
Yeah.
And when I see them performing, I'm like, yo, Justin Tucker's out here missing 40-yard kicks and extra points. Yo, these niggas out here kicking for 50, helping me win money.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can't tell me that there's no better options, and we haven't explored none of them. At least bring somebody on the practice squad. At least make Justin think about it.
That was the perfect time with the bye week. You could bring him in on the bye week and say, look, this is your competition. So be there. Like, I don't feel like if he's giving him a hug, then you gotta be able to have hard conversations, man. He ain't having no hard conversations with Justin right now. Like you said, you made a great point, Nick. Or ain't getting no hugs. He ain't getting no hugs. We would have gone after week 1. We saw the signs involved at week 1. So nobody gets hugs. Nobody, when they messing up, nobody gets none of that. But Justin Tucker get hugged. And like I said, it's not a one game thing. It's not all right, bet he just missed a 50-yarder, whatever. Like this is all season.
70% for a kicker is.
This is all season. This go back 3 years.
That's Shaquille O'Neal free throw level worth of efficiency. Like for a kicker, that's horrible. 80%, the 80 to 88% range is a mediocre, bad to mediocre for a kicker. 70% is downright awful.
That's what I'm saying. I've seen kickers get cut for way less than what he. I've seen San Francisco switch kick. I've seen Green Bay switch kickers because he missed kicks in back-to-back games. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing here, man? It's a team where you 8-5. You should definitely have a couple more wins on the board if your kicker just makes kicks, and he's not. So, and then I thought we was in a result-based business. I thought we were, but I guess not.
Man, what makes matters worse is I have to watch Ravens commercials. If I'm not seeing a Craven commercial, I'm seeing a Roll Farms commercial. I'm like, I don't want to see him. It's like Will Levis in the Mayo. I don't want to see you talk about anything. It's like when Baker was a Cleveland Brownie. He wasn't playing well. I don't care about Progressive. I'm going to Geico just because of this.
That's the point. I mean, kickers shouldn't have endorsements.
That's what I'm saying. Highest pick. If you're the highest paid kick in the league, you can't be missing free kicks in the game.
Kickers shouldn't have endorsements. That's crazy.
Mike Vanity.
Yeah. I, for one, am enjoying the downfall of Justin Tucker. I could not wait.
I want Chris Paul.
Somebody. Oh, he's the best kicker in the league.
Remember we argued about this last year?
Hey, man, I'd rather have Chris. Oh, you're crazy. No, I'm not. And look, for somebody that's been on the opposite side of the Ravens getting across the 50 in the fourth quarter, and it's just like, fuck, all right, game over. At least the fact now that he can't even hit a 35-yard extra point, hey, dog, good riddance. Fuck you. You ain't getting no hug from me. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Good riddance. And that damn kick in Detroit should not have counted. I stand by that.
Let's go. Before we talk Steelers, because y'all deserve some time.
Absolutely.
Keys and Keith, y'all acknowledge the schedule upcoming. How y'all feel about what's to come, and what do we need to do to put ourselves in the best position?
I feel okay only because the defense has been playing well. Like these last 3 games, like, okay, you played well against the Steelers. That's a hard fought game. We not taking nothing out of that. Like, you know, that's what you expect. Like, you expect the hard nose in the trench game. I'm not saying like they did some supernatural thing. They made a couple adjustments and the Steelers didn't take advantage of it. That's all it was. Then you go to the Chargers where, you know, we see what they do on the offense. As a coordinator, you know, like I said, besides the Gus Edwards touchdown, you played well. You really played well in San Diego, in Los Angeles, to win that game. And yesterday, I think the defense played lights out yesterday. Besides that fourth quarter, besides the late junk shit to Saquon Barkley, I think they played really, really well with stopping that RPO. I think the secondary was handsies. So that's what gave me confidence that this defense. Now, they can easily revert back to what the hell he was. That's the thing. But that's what's giving me the confidence that they're going to be okay, because I think the Darius Washington in that starting lineup is fixed everything, it seemed like. Subbing out Brandon Stevens for Trey White has fixed a lot of things. So that's what gives me confidence. I think we'll see if they can correct the slow starts. But the schedule is not easy. It's not you know, them 3 games in 10 days. You got the Steelers again. You got some tough games. You got the Texans. And then, you know, in the season Browns. So, and you got a Giant. So it's games that you should win. It's games that you should be able to take advantage of, but you don't know with this kicker. You don't know if you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to be in a shootout with Houston that had a game and you down by 2 with the game with a 35-yard field goal, and if you're going to miss the field goal, you don't know no more. You don't know if you're going to get the Steelers here in a 1-possession game and you got to kick the game to win. You don't know no more. You don't know. You cannot be so sure about that. So I'm 50-50 on it. I think, like I said, I've been saying, I think they're talented enough. I think that once we've been saying it all season, the defense get fixed, the Ravens will be fine. It's fixed, but now we got another issue. We got to. The worst issue you can have is when you can't rely on your kicker to walk you off. The worst issue. It's literally the worst problem you can have.
Yeah, I would say to answer your question, as far as confidence, I think probably like a 7.5, 8 out of 10, but that's more so because of the schedule. I mean, the Giants, we know where they are right now as a football team. The Steelers is the one toss-up for me. Houston looks like they've been on the decline. Now, who knows what they'll look like in 2 weeks, because this is definitely a week-to-week league. But the way they look right now, they've got some issues. And then, I mean, Cleveland at home the last week of the season, I'm thinking, take care of business. So the way the schedule looks, I'm confident, but my confidence isn't predicated on the regular season. It's based off the playoffs and what I think they can do in the playoffs. And that confidence right now is a 5. Because when I look at the way the Chiefs play, winning close football games, it may not look pretty, but the culture there, they win football games. I look at the Steelers, the way they're constructed, playing defense, offense is scoring points. You look at Buffalo, the way Josh Allen's playing. And I say, I don't think we've done anything right now to say that like we're the top team in the AFC. So that confidence level is like a 5. But as far as how we finish this regular season, I think it's like a 7.58. The real season for us starts in January. And I mean, now with the division, basically, I mean, it looks like it's for the Steelers to lose, essentially. It means you're going on the road to Pittsburgh. It means you're going on the road to Buffalo.
That's the scary part, bro. That's
the scary part about it, because you just saw the weather in Buffalo last night. We played the playoff game in Buffalo in January. It wasn't pretty. And speaking of Tucker, he missed kicks that game. That probably could have won the game, because that was a tightly contested game too. Until Lamar went out. So,
couple of them.
That's my answer to your question. Like I think we finished. I think we can arguably win the last 4 games. At worst, finish 3-1. And what's that put you at the 5 or 6 seed in the AFC? So, I like that part of it, but it's the details, bro. Like this, it's the sloppiness, and that's never really been our MO, being a sloppy, undisciplined football team. And to watch that week in, week out, it's frustrating, because if it wasn't there, what could be?
2 final points. Agree with everything you guys said. The only thing that scares me in that 10-day stretch is the fact that we have to go up to the Giants and play a football game on that field after cramming all those games. And I mean physical games. We're talking about Philadelphia and Houston as well. I don't know, man. It's just I know they're sandwiched in between that, but I don't know if I like playing in that field with you know, our bodies at risk. But you know, that's a personal thing. As far as long term, bro, listen, I don't really have much confidence that we can win 3 playoff games on the road. And that was the reason why, like, a lot of these games where we're beating ourselves, like, it's hurting us to the point where we don't even have the ability to dictate where we play football in the playoffs. And if we can't win games at home, are we going to win games on the road? Not saying we can't, but keep mentioning it. Weather is an issue in Pittsburgh and Buffalo and some of those type of places. Kansas City as well. And also, you know, it just leaving things, having to win games, every game on the road. I know we harken back to 2012, but bro, I was like 4,600 days ago, bro. Like, Ray Lewis ain't walking through those doors, okay? Like, we had something to play for back then. What do we have to play for that's motivating us right now? You know, we just got the same monotony, bro. Just, we just got to clean this up. We have to fix this. We have to stop beating ourselves. If we would have did this, if we would have did that, bro. Like, it's going on 5 years now. If it's just like, bro. Anyway, let's talk about the real team in the AFC North.
Here we go. Let's go to a commercial break. Nitty Gritty.
When I want some sports news, Nitty Gritty is definitely who I'm tuning into, man. They show up each week with that uncut, that raw, that unfiltered sports news.
They say the things that everyone else wishes that they can say, but they can't.
Every Tuesday and Saturday, I am locked into my favorite sports show, Nitty Gritty.
Nitty Gritty, the best show out right now. Tune in and listen, stupid.